So one of the things that I try to do on this channel is to make sure that I'm pointing out bits of information that people can vote for, not just against. I think we will probably start seeing a bit more of that moving forward because Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are able to better articulate what an American future might look like under their administration. But with that being said, I still think it is very much important that we outline what a second Trump term might look like. And Meidas Touch has put together a video pointing out some of the people under consideration for a second Trump cabinet. Now, we already know that 40 out of 44 of Trump's hand-selected cabinet members from his previous administration say that he is not fit to be president or they won't endorse him. So a second Trump cabinet might be a bit more extreme. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video really quick, and then we will go over some of the characters involved.
Donald Trump reacting to reports about what a second term would look like.
He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, no, other than day one.
Before I get chased out of town with my Trump pardon, we're going to deport 10 million people and growing, put kids in cages. It's going to be glorious.
This is why we're tyrannical. This is why we're dictators. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after you.
The elephant in the room, which is pornography. Whenever America bans that, which will be happening at some point, everyone will be much better off.
For people who know their Bible, this is exactly what the prophets told us. Transgender black Marxists are seeking the overthrow of the United States and the dissolution of the traditional family.
Neutral laws will be used to crush us. Write the law so it protects your friends and harms the bad guys. When Democrats break the law, you bring it smashing down on them.
I think you can only serve in office if you were actually born in this country, not a birthright citizen anchor baby like Nikki Haley. But I don't want people like that in our country, let alone in our Congress.
If you want to save this country, there is going to have to be a third great awakening. We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
I think a lot of people thought that the first Trump term was going to be bad, but I don't think anybody had any idea how bad it actually ended up being. And what these people pointed out in this video here from Meidas Touch, a second Trump term might just be absolutely insane. So that is a terrifying prospect for this country. It could have devastating consequences for so many people in this country. And let's go ahead and kick things off with Mike Davis. He's rumored to be the next Attorney General. And he has got some wild views, including getting retribution against some of Trump's enemies. And we already know that Trump talks about this sort of thing. So let's go ahead and see what he had to say about that.
So the first day of your viceroyship, what happens to Jack Smith?
Oh, Jack Smith is so fired on day one. And he's going to be he has to be part of the Trump 47 Justice Department's criminal probe. Whoever Trump brings in as his acting attorney general on day one, that acting attorney general must open a criminal probe on this criminal conspiracy against rights under 18 U.S.C. 241. And remember what the Democrats always say, no one is above the law. And that criminal conspiracy needs to include these Democrat judges and these Democrat prosecutors and these Democrat witnesses and these Democrat operatives, including inside and outside of the government, who are conspiring to violate the civil rights of President Trump, his top aides like Peter Navarro.
People like this should absolutely terrify you. Donald Trump talks about getting revenge and retribution all of the time. So it is absolutely terrifying that an attorney general like Mike Davis is even a possibility. If we have somebody like Mike Davis who is already talking about getting revenge or going after Donald Trump's perceived enemies, why would we think that it wouldn't actually happen in a second Trump term? Mike Davis is likely to just take all orders from Trump and pursue them, start illegitimate investigations, or whatever it may be. These types of people should be nowhere near the White House, and it's absolutely crazy that they are being even considered for a second Trump term. But let's go ahead and move on to Kash Patel. They're saying he might be the next CIA director, but I have a video of him here saying that he was right about a whole bunch of different conspiracies. Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Now is not the I told you so moment. Now is not the time to go to America and say, we were right about Russiagate, we were right about Jan 6, we were right about the 51 Intel letter, we were right about Joe Biden's classified documents case, we were right about President Trump's classified documents case and the two-tier system of justice. We were right because we dared to put the truth out. We were right because we were fighting for this country and our future generation with facts. And that's what we have to arm the American people with every single day.
The CIA director plays an important role in our intelligence agencies, and those people need to be guided by facts. They cannot be pursuing investigations or whatever it may be based on these types of conspiracy theories. It is absolutely frightening that Kash Patel would even be considered for this position, especially with how many conspiracies he just listed off as being true. It is so irritating that they espouse these things as fact when there is no basis to do so. But let's go ahead and move on to John McCentee. He already served in a Trump administration, and he's likely to come back in a senior White House role. And I think many of you may have already seen this video of him giving fake money to homeless people and laughing about it. Let's go ahead and take a look.
So I always keep this fake Hollywood money in my car, so when a homeless person asks for money, then I give them like a fake $5 bill. So I feel good about myself, they feel good. And then when they go to use it, they get arrested. So I'm actually like helping clean up the community, you know, getting them off the street.
Just super high caliber people, right? Even if this guy is joking, it is a disgusting joke. Talking about locking up homeless people after you do a nice deed and helping them by giving them money. This would just be gross behavior. It's not a funny joke to make. And for some reason, it doesn't strike me that this is an actual joke from this guy. It seems like it actually would be something he would do. He makes videos like this all of the time on TikTok, and they all have this vile nature to them, just like this one. But let's go ahead and move on to Michele Bachmann. She's being considered for Secretary of State. But we have her here on video talking about how the United States is handing over their sovereignty to the World Health Organization, another huge conspiracy from the COVID era. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Hopefully pull the Biden administration in front of the House, and they need to answer questions. They need to talk about this grab of national sovereignty from all countries on healthcare decision making. But really, what is the bottom line that's about to be created? It is effectively a platform for global governance. And that sounds like a tinfoil hat thing to say. I assure you it is not. That's what these people intend. They want to have a huge global power grab into the United Nations. And that's what people, a lot of common people, you might say, I'm a common person. A lot of people are starting to pick up on this.
I think it probably sounds like a tinfoil hat idea because it is. The conspiracy she's asserting here was that Joe Biden was signing up to the World Health Organization to give away all of our sovereignty to further this one world government conspiracy. This is not happening. It has no basis in truth. And for somebody who is considered or being considered for Secretary of State, we should expect more from these types of people. We can't have these types of people believing in wide-ranging conspiracy theories being Secretary of State. Would they ever allow Hillary Clinton to believe in wild conspiracies serving as our Secretary of State? No, that would be absolutely ludicrous. But let's go ahead and move on to Stephen Miller. He also served in the Trump administration the first time. And I think he's credited for being part of the Muslim ban that Trump enacted. And now he's talking about mass deportations, which is something that Donald Trump talks about often as well. Let's go ahead and take a look.
We are being conquered. This is a complete resettlement of America in real time. It took hundreds of years, going back long even before our founding, going back all the way to the earliest days of the colonies in America, to slowly build everything that we have. And now when you have millions of people coming in from different cultures and different ways of living and different belief systems, they're going to take those belief systems with them to America. So a generation from now, I am telling you, Jesse, people will not know the country that they are living in. These consequences are permanent. Unless there is massive, large-scale deportations by the millions, it will be irrevocable.
This guy just really creeps me out. He just speaks with like so much hate in his voice when he talks about certain groups of people. Really gross stuff. But he's being considered for chief of staff. Stephen Miller is an extremist. He will likely help Trump in his plan to carry out mass deportations. And this is something we spoke about on other videos. Mass deportations would be absolutely devastating for this country. Do we really want to see armored trucks rolling up into communities and ripping parents away from their children, or vice versa? And how are you going to guarantee that they are here undocumented? How are you going to guarantee that it's not American citizens that you are rounding up and then forcing into these mass detention centers? Absolutely wild that people like this could be in a second Trump term. Let's go ahead and move on to Laura Loomer. She's known for chaining herself to the Twitter headquarters because they were censoring her speech. Absolutely crazy. But here, she's calling for the death penalty for Democrats. Quite wild.
Should Democrats be in jail? No question. When Donald Trump gets elected, should he start locking them up? No question. Should there be lists of Democrats that need to go to jail? 100%.
Not just jail, they should get the death penalty. You know, we actually used to have the punishment for treason in this country.
This is just horrendous stuff. And the crazy part is, these people never bring up any evidence or any information that you could suspect somebody committed a crime. They never bring up anything along those lines. All it is empty. Well, not empty. All it is talking points against their perceived enemies. Democrats are the enemies of Trump, supposedly. Therefore, we need to go after them. We need to charge them with treason, whatever it may be. This is absolutely disgusting behavior from Laura Loomer. I just cannot even take her seriously as a person, but she is now being considered for the press secretary. And we already know that Donald Trump likes Laura Loomer. She's often down at Mar-a-Lago playing buddy-buddy with Trump. So let's go ahead and move on to Kevin Roberts. He's being considered for a senior policy advisor. This is the dude behind Project 2025. He is the president of the Heritage Foundation. And here we have him on MSNBC just espousing that the 2020 election was stolen and there was massive fraud all over the place. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Is your organization going to accept the results of the 2024 election, regardless of the outcome?
Yes, if there isn't massive fraud like there was in 2020.
What does that mean?
If there isn't massive fraud.
Do you believe that there was not massive fraud?
There was massive fraud. We have an election fraud database that has documented that over years. By the way, the Heritage Foundation has been concerned about election integrity for decades, not just about 2020. We've been documenting this problem for a very long time. And if one of the
I believe, according to the Heritage Foundation, sir, by your count, Heritage Foundation has done an investigation, and according to your count, there have been 1,513 proven instances of voter fraud across the United States since 1982.
Yeah, that's probably
1,513.
Because they're very hard to document. And the Democrat Party is very good at fraud.
I don't know if you caught it there, but the Heritage Foundation tracks all proven instances of voter fraud. And I think the number was, just under 1,600? And that was since 1982. These are facts presented by his own organization. But instead of confronting those, he just brushes them aside and says, no, of course the Democrats are good at stealing elections. Of course there was fraud everywhere. But they do not provide the sufficient evidence to make that claim true. All of the people that we just looked at that are being considered for the Trump cabinet in a second term should terrify you. These people are extreme. They are radical. And they, in my opinion, should be nowhere near our White House. And of course, these things are not confirmed yet, but there is enough information to think that these are the people that Trump will hire in a second Trump term. So we need to do everything we can to make sure people know how extreme a second Trump term might be. Like I said, it could have devastating and far-reaching consequences for everyone in this country, especially when we talk about things like Project 2025, which Trump is very familiar and close to. These things are scary. That's why we need to be out there doing the work to make sure that these people don't come anywhere near close to power. So that's going to do it for me on this one, folks. If you got anything out of this video, if you could remember to smash that like button and hit subscribe, maybe share it with a friend or two, I'd very much appreciate that. If you think I got something wrong, or if you disagree with me about something, feel free to drop a comment below. And if you want to learn about Trump's connections to Project 2025, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. And I will see you guys on the next one.